The bonded vault heist. You know how the mob usually robs banks? Well, in 1975, they became the victims. There was this secret vault inside a First Storage building in Providence, Rhode Island. No sign outside, no security system, just 146 safe deposit boxes packed with cash, gold, and jewels belonging to Patriarcha crime family associates. On August 14, 8 men walked in with a crowbar and walked out with duffel bags stuffed so full they literally left the vault knee-deep in money they couldn't carry. Estimated take, $30 million. But here's the kicker. Boss Raymond Patriarcha ordered the whole thing. He was in prison, felt his guys weren't paying him what they owed, so he decided to steal from them to teach a lesson. He even had them reschedule so his son could remove his own valuables first. The trial became the longest in Rhode Island history. One hero, a female employee with a threadbare pillowcase over her head. She could see through it and identified the thieves. Police guarded her so intensely, they helped her fold her baby's diapers. The Barbecue Murders. June 21, 1975. Terra Linda, California. 16-year-old Marlene Olive wakes up, argues with her mother, and makes a phone call. "Get your gun," she tells her 300-pound boyfriend Charles Riley. "We've got to kill the bitch today." She unlocks the door and leaves with her father. Riley enters. Naomi Olive is sleeping. He beats her with a hammer, stabs her, suffocates her. When Jim Olive comes home early, Riley shoots him 4 times. Then the couple drives the bodies to China Camp State Park, douses them in gasoline, and burns them in a public barbecue pit. A firefighter initially mistakes the remains for a deer carcass. That night, they go to a Yes concert, use mom's credit cards for shopping sprees, live in the dead parents' house for days. Marlene gets caught because she can't keep her story straight. She serves 4 years in juvenile detention. Riley gets death, commuted to life, released after 40 years. The crime that shocked America. She planned it for months. Once tried poisoning her mother's food, but the bitter taste gave it away. The Montreal Bar Massacre. January 21, 1975. Montreal, Canada. Richard Blass has a nickname, Le Chat, the Cat, because he survived 3 assassination attempts, a police shootout, and 2 prison escapes. But this night, he creates a crime scene so brutal it remains one of Canada's worst mass murders 50 years later. Blass and his partner enter the Gargantua Bar, a known mob hangout. They round up 13 people, 10 men, 3 women, and lock them inside a beer storage closet no bigger than a minivan. They shove a jukebox against the door. Then they set the building on fire. Investigators later find the victims' fingerprints on the ceiling. They died standing up, clawing for air, desperate to escape. Why? Blass believed 2 witnesses inside had testified against him. He wanted no one left to talk. 3 days later, police track him to a chalet. He reaches for his gun. Officers fire 27 rounds. Blass dies instantly. Years later, a cop confesses Blass was unarmed. He was holding a sock. The Flat Tire Murders. 1975 to 1976, South Florida. Young women keep disappearing. Their bodies surface in canals, beaten, strangled, drowned. 12 confirmed dead, possibly 35. The pattern is chilling. Victims' cars are found with slashed tires. Investigators theorize a charming, well-dressed man approaches stranded women, offers help, earns their trust. Then he rapes and kills them. For 50 years, the case goes cold. Then, in 2023, DNA links 2 murdered 14-year-olds, Barbara Schraber and Darlene Zetterower, to a dead felon named Robert Clark Keebler. In 2025, they identify his accomplice, Lawrence Stein. Both men died years ago, Keebler in 2019, Stein in 2005. They took the truth to their graves. The remaining 10 victims, still unsolved. The killer who haunted South Florida canals, who murdered girls who just wanted to get home, was never held accountable in this lifetime. Some families waited half a century for a name. What they got was a corpse. The disappearance of Jimmy Hoffa. July 30, 1975, Bloomfield Township, Michigan. Former Teamsters president Jimmy Hoffa walks into the Matches Red Fox restaurant parking lot at 2:30 p.m. for a meeting. He's supposed to reconcile with mob associates. He never walks out. 50 years later, we're still asking, where's the body? Theories have buried him everywhere. Under Giants Stadium, beneath a Michigan horse farm, inside a concrete driveway encased in the Renaissance Center Foundation. But Detroit crime writer Scott Bernstein says the FBI's standing theory is far darker. Hoffa was taken to a Bloomfield Hills home, murdered by mob soldier Anthony Palazzolo, shot, strangled, or bludgeoned. Sources disagree, which then fed through a meat grinder. His remains were burned to ash at a mob-connected sanitation business. The building conveniently caught fire months later. The perfect murder, Bernstein calls it, almost too perfect. Because without a body, without a grave, without any physical evidence at all, Jimmy Hoffa doesn't die. He becomes American folklore. The murder of Sam Giancana. June 19, 1975, Oak Park, Illinois. It's nearly 11 p.m., humid and moonlit. Chicago outfit boss Sam Giancana is frying Italian sausage in his basement kitchen when someone knocks. He opens the door. He knows this visitor. Why wouldn't he? They've worked together since the St. Valentine's Day massacre. The visitor shoots him once in the back of the head, once in the mouth, the classic mob message for talkers. Giancana hits the floor. For 50 years, the official answer has been unsolved. But ask federal investigators off the record. They'll tell you. Tony Accardo did it. The man who outranked everyone. The man who feared Giancana would spill Senate committee secrets. The man whose car left his house before the murder and returned afterward. Accardo died in 1992 at 86, boasting he'd never spent a night in jail. He took the truth with him. But here's what we know. When Al Capone needed a machine gunner in 1929, Accardo was there. When Sam Giancana needed killing in 1975, Accardo did it himself. The kidnapping and murder of Cristina Mazzotti. June 30, 1975, Brianza, Italy. 18-year-old Cristina Mazzotti is driving home when men pull her from her car. She becomes the first woman ever kidnapped by the 'Ndrangheta, the Calabrian mafia, in northern Italy. Her captors lock her in an unventilated concrete pit, pump her full of sedatives, and demand 5 billion lire from her wealthy family. Her father negotiates, he pays. But here's what he doesn't know. Cristina is already dead. Killed with a single blow to the neck, buried under industrial waste, covered in caustic soda to dissolve her body. The kidnappers accept the ransom anyway, count the money, walk away. For 51 years, the masterminds evade justice. Until February 2026. An Italian court convicts 2 aging mafiosos, Giuseppe Calabro, 74, and Demetrio Leitella, 71, and sentences them to life in prison. A fingerprint found on the kidnapped vehicle, unidentifiable in 1975, matched by modern technology. Cristina's killers finally face judgment. Half a century late. But not forgotten. The murder of Jacob Molinas. August 3, 1975, Hollywood, California. Jack Molinas has a genius IQ of 175. He's a Columbia Law graduate, a former NBA All-Star, and a convicted point-shaving conspirator who served 5 years for fixing games while playing for the Fort Wayne Pistons. At 2 a.m., He's standing in his backyard when 5 shots ring out from the neighbor's fence. One bullet hits his neck, another wounds his girlfriend, another hits his dog. Molinas dies instantly. The shooter, Eugene Connor, a man with mob connections who fled to Lebanon and never faced trial. But why kill a disgraced basketball player? Molinas had recently expanded into pornography and fur smuggling, facing federal charges at the time of his death. His business partner had been beaten to death 8 months earlier. Both men carried $500,000 life insurance policies on each other. The Genovese crime family, the LA mob, a dead partner, a witness hiding overseas. The truth died with Connor. 50 years later, the FBI still lists it as an open case. But no one's talking. In the mob, some secrets stay buried. The murder of Debbie Gama. August 8, 1975, Erie, Pennsylvania. 16-year-old Debbie Gama leaves home and never returns. Days later, her body surfaces in Cuscuego Creek, strangled with wire, dumped like garbage. Her English teacher, Raymond Payne, confesses, pleads guilty, gets life. But here's what makes this case unforgettable. Debbie's mother, Betty Ferguson, did something almost nobody can do. She forgave him, visited him in prison, wrote letters, let go of the rage that was destroying her from inside. To forgive will set you free, she said. It set me free. Debbie's sister Michelle was 10 years old when police dusted their shared bedroom for fingerprints. The black powder stayed on her furniture long after the detectives left. She sat on her dead sister's bed and cried alone. Decades later, she also forgave Payne, not because he deserved it, but because she refused to let him control her life anymore. Payne is still alive, still appealing his conviction, still claiming DNA proves his innocence. The family is still waiting for the case to end. Forgiveness didn't bring Debbie back, but it stopped the killer from taking anything else. The murder of Judith Lord. May 20, 1975, Concord, New Hampshire. A property manager knocks on Judith Lord's apartment door to collect overdue rent. No answer. But inside, a 20-month-old baby boy is crying. He forces entry. Judith is naked on the bed, a blue plastic covering her face, ripped curtains, broken lamp. An alarm clock on the floor stopped at 1:47 a.m. Her next-door neighbor, Ernest Gable, was the prime suspect. He'd made crude comments about her. She'd told friends she was afraid of him. But when investigators sent hair samples to the FBI lab, the report came back. Microscopic analysis proves the hairs at the scene are not Gable's. Case closed. For 50 years. Then, in 2015, the FBI admits its microscopic hair analysis was flawed in over 95% of cases. Exonerations are overturned, wrongful convictions exposed. And in Judith Lord's case, the same technician who cleared Gable is now discredited. New DNA testing confirms what police suspected in 1975. The semen on those towels is Ernest Gable's, 1 in 6.5 million match. Gable died in a 1987 street fight, stabbed in the chest. Never arrested, never charged, never convicted. But 50 years later, her son finally knows who killed his mother. Her case is closed. Her legacy, she changed New Hampshire law. Thanks to Judith Lord, police can now obtain DNA warrants. Her murder built the system that caught her killer.